Can we get back to
normal videos?
please? Yo.
Okay, this is gonna be a bit of a shorter one, but it's very important. Were you ever a child? If so, why? Well, because you wanted to play video games, of course. Adults aren't allowed to do that. I too was once a small, measly, malcontent child who wanted nothing more than to jump into the metaphorical Super Mario 64 painting of gaming and waste away an undignified percentage of my life replaying classic titles such as Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Yoshi Story, Sonic & Knuckles, the list goes on. Now, most of you watching are probably aware of a particularly famous game series that serves to unite the characters from all those previously mentioned games, garnering an impressive roster of video game icons to gather under the banner of violence, Super Smash Brothers. You know it, I know it, discussion over. I am not here to give you a rich and detailed history of the series. I'm simply here to tell you why every single one of those games stink in the most emphatically rancid way possible in comparison to the best game ever created, Super Smash Flash. This game was my jam as an idiot child. I remember logging on to dandare.com, a site that most definitely houses some kind of malware, and tearing this game to shreds. I never played real Smash Bros until 2017, when I bought Smash 64 on the Wii Virtual Console. Afterwards, it was off to Smash 4, then Brawl, then Ultimate. Weird progression, I know. Point being, Smash Flash was my first exposure to the series. I must have been 6 or 7 when I first laid eyes upon this passion-infused masterclass of a game. Super Smash Flash, as the name suggests, was a fan recreation of Super Smash Bros. In the Flash engine, being inspired by Melee specifically. You can download the game yourself from McLeodgaming.com. Gregory McLeod is single-handedly responsible for making my childhood 3% more awesome. I know that sounds like a small percentage, but in the grand scheme of adolescence, 3% is a pretty reasonable amount. Apparently, he originally developed games for the TI-83 Plus calculator. Bro went from making math games to making the capstone of modern game design. You don't believe me? Fine. See for yourself.
Ready? Go!
Okay, I know this looks bad. It may not actually be the marvel of modern game design I've cracked it up to be, but this game is still the coolest thing ever to this day. Smash Flash was released in 2006, 2 whole years before the release of Brawl. And you know what? They beat Nintendo to the punch. Look at this roster. Smash Flash was rocking third-party characters before the Wii even came out. Sonic, Mega Man, Shadow, Lloyd, Blade. All my homies love Blade. Smash Flash is the only reason I know who the heck Lloyd even is. Except I still don't, he's just the Smash Flash guy to me. Apparently he's from a game called Tales of Symphonia, a JRPG GameCube title. After discovering this, I started looking up classic JRPGs when writing the script to see if anything appealed to me. But before remembering I don't even like RPGs, well, that's a lie, but the genre doesn't often pique my interest. Anyway, Smash Flash is stupid fun. Not like stupid fun as in extreme fun, I mean like fun and stupid. Remember, this is a 2006 browser video game. The entire game is one big JPEG, and it is delectable to feast your eyes upon in a retro Newgrounds.com kind of way. For example, look at Link's sprite. It makes me very happy in a weird, unexplainable kind of way. It treads the line perfectly between cheesy, fan-made product and genuinely praiseworthy pixel art. I've been a Link main since 64, so provide me just a moment to gawk at his brilliance. I love how his down air and up air reference Zelda 2. I love the beautiful trail that appears behind his sword while slashing. I love his vibrant shield. I love how he looks right at the camera before a fight like, are you for real? Oh yeah, you can unlock Young Link. And guess what? He has the hero shield. I've always considered Majora's Mask's signature shield underrated, and having it represented here provides me with a moderate level of contentment. And for those of you wondering, Melee Young Link had the Deku shield, not the hero shield. Even beyond Link, most of the sprite work is actually quite good. It's a mix of art lifted from official titles and homemade sprites. Now, as for the mechanics, it's a little complicated. This game is not polished in any sense of the word. Buggy collision, inconsistently balanced damage values. I can literally delete any character 90% of the time by holding up air. Smash Flash combines both special attacks and normal attacks into one moveset. You have one attack button and the attack used is altered depending on which direction you're holding. Certainly simple, but for this game's vibe, I feel it's sufficient. It radiates this glitchy early internet charm, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, also, you can only play with keyboard. There is no controller support, but I think it adds to the antiquity. Just like Melee, Smash Flash has 2 main modes, Classic and Adventure. In Classic, you'll work your way through various combat encounters and eventually face the Master Hand. In Adventure, you do basically the same thing, except now with some extra platforming stages sprinkled in. They're a mixed bag. Super Mario World is excusable. Floating Islands was literally the bane of my existence as a child. They literally added a skip function to Floating Islands because of how bad it was. And Race to the Finish is annoying, but kind of fun because of it. After completing these stages, you get to fight 2 Master Hands. Both of these modes are fun enough in their own right, but rarely have any variety. I feel really silly critiquing a Flash game, but it's in my DNA. I can't enjoy anything anymore, I swear. After spending a good amount of time in these game modes, you'll start unlocking new characters. And boy are they a sight to behold. Cloud, Supersonic, Naruto, Mr. Incredible. They got some whack picks here. There's another original Sonic OC named Blue. All my homies hate Blue. Blade wins no shot. I'd also like to mention that this game has a versus mode, and it works exactly as you'd expect. It's an exclusively local 2-player versus match, both players having to share the same keyboard. Now this is peak Flash game. Unfortunately, there seems to be a fatal flaw with local multiplayer. The camera only ever follows player 1. Player 2 could be absolutely anywhere on the stage and the camera just would not care. This quite obviously provides player 1 with a heavily unfair advantage. Not that I ever had to complain about that advantage, this footage is just me attempting to play against myself. Despite how much I've been ragging on this game, I genuinely adore Super Smash Flash. It's such a statement. Even back in 2006, when the internet was far less advanced and mainstream as it is today, McLeod Gaming managed to create one of the most charming and memorable fan games of my childhood. Even just looking at the credits, a lot of people contributed to this game. Thank you, Gregory, if you're somehow watching this video, for making this internet classic. At 16, no less. That's me. That's how old I am. I take that first video essay back entirely. Super Smash Flash is objectively the greatest game of all time. My word is law, and your arguments have been made null and void.
Faster and faster.